What's up, good people? Welcome to this live from By the Hood. I'm your host as always. My name is Jimmy. Um, Listen, man, this should be an excellent Friday live. We're here between 7 and 8 on Friday, every Friday, and we have a special guest this Friday. We talk business investing, but this is a business I definitely am interested to talk about during these crazy times we're in. Man, we got my brother Curtis in the building, Curtis Brown, aka King Kurt Live of Head Nerds in Charge. Kurt, what's going on?
What's going on? My brothers, cousins is what I call you because you're
Yes, sir.
family.
How are you, good brother?
Man, let me tell you something. I'm trying to stay alive in these COVID streets. They got the Philly supposed to be opening up green, but I'm gonna keep my black behind back in the house. They,
Right. Yeah, it's wild. It's funny you say that. I just saw something that said the city just put out a thing like everybody has to wear a mask as soon as you leave the crib because of the second wave. I'm like, second wave when the first wave stopped.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, man. You know, black folks, we know how S curls go. Ain't no second wave. It's just the first one. The first wave ain't never crashed. So I don't know where they come with this second. That second wave gonna come around winter. I'm telling you right now, we're gonna get through this summer hump because you already know color folk ain't fitting to stay in no house when the weather get good outside. Not in Philly.
No, not at all. Not at all. Block party. Yo, this week, like next weekend, July 4th, is gonna be nuts. It don't matter what's going on the COVID streets. It's gonna be nuts.
Jimmy. Because they canceled the fireworks. The city canceled the main fireworks.
Yeah, I'm about to say they've been going on for a while, but
But that means we're gonna be in the parks.
Yeah.
Watching everything but our mamas and setting up fireworks until 12 o'clock like usual.
Yo, so for the people watching, maybe the first time you're watching, we on our Friday live, we like to just have a conversation about business, investing, and all types of different businesses, right? And to give you a little background, our brother Kurt had us on his show a little while ago, Head Nerds in Charge. It's an amazing platform because all of us are geeks, whether you want to, we had this conversation on your show about everybody being a geek, right? But yours comes from the standpoint of black people, which is interesting because that's like a subset of a bigger culture, right? And I was interested to talk to you because we're going through some crazy times right now politically. What's going on in the country, in terms of race relations, in terms of just the economy, everything. And I want to know how that's affecting like geek culture, right? Because when you talk about geek culture, that's kind of a space where people get together because they have a like interest. And you get people from all different, sexualities, races, demographics. They come together because of their love of this thing. What happens to that camaraderie and everything when you go through times like this, when you go through a pandemic and when you go through what's going on in terms of race relations? How does that affect your business?
Bruh, let me tell you something. First and foremost, for those that are just now checking in on our H&IC page, I just shared it. So y'all need to tune in and make sure y'all follow By the Hood. By the Hood, as far as I've had my experience with these brothers, are so knowledgeable in some of the things that we as black nerds, we start talking about infrastructure. We start talking about building an economic bubble. We start talking about growth. The things that we talk about, especially for those that are joining on the live off of our platform. Make sure I put the link in the status. Hit that By the Hood and make sure to follow these two good brothers. Jimmy and Corey have been, close with me for a good long time. I just wanted to make sure that they knew that. So, because we're gonna talk about it, Jimmy, because this is some hard economic times to be a black nerd, and I'm gonna tell you why. First and foremost, let's take it from the top. Convention owners. One of the staples of nerd culture is going to geek conventions. These conventions have been canceling, obviously, left and right, because what is it? You couldn't have more than 5 people in the same bathroom, but whatever it was, you just couldn't have a multitude of people in one space. Well, that cancels out all the geek conventions, the cosplayers who rely on prize money, the vendors who go to these conventions and sell their wares, businesses such as mine who rely heavily on these opportunities to actually shake hands and kiss babies. And half the time, where you can see us on your screen, but it's different when you can actually see us in person. And we haven't had that opportunity. That's a loss of revenue that is incalculable. And every major convention from Wizard World in New York, San Diego Comic-Con, everything has had to adapt to this new era in the COVID, because of COVID, and try to acclimate themselves to an online type of platform, but it's hard pressed because nobody was expecting it. Now, that's just conventions. Let's look at it from brick and mortar comic book shops. Can't sell comic books if nobody can come in your store. So now we have a huge influx of people who've been sitting in the house. They bored, they're looking for entertainment. They want to cop up on their new comic books, but I can't go down and support the Black Amalgam Comics, which is a Black-owned comic book store right here in Philadelphia. Black Sister, first comic book store owned by a Black woman on the East Coast. I can't go support her because the doors ain't open. So now what do? I gotta get Jeff Bezos, my money. That's not there. Then on top of that, you start talking about the gaming stores, places where people do their Twitch streams and whatnot, like a Gamer's Heaven up in Phoenixville. That's one of those places where if you're a Twitch streamer and you don't have the equipment or studio in-house, you can go there and you can get on their setup, their link. You can stream your platform and get to your viewers. And everybody knows Twitch streaming is its own economic bubble because your viewers are the ones that support you. So now if you can't get online, if your viewers can't see you, you SOL.
Yeah, it's crazy because I knew that, from the business standpoint, I knew that it was a lot of things, but you're like making me aware of just how many other things I didn't think about. I thought about the conventions, but I didn't think about like the gaming part. The gaming part, I never thought about that. I thought about the conventions because, in your head, you just assume, all right, Twitch, well, they're already home. But some people don't have access to that equipment. Right. So that knocks them out of play. The comic book stores, man, that's tough because that was already a thing of having to compete with Bezos, right? So now people get accustomed to that being in this situation. Will they ever go back?
And that,
you know what I mean?
That's
so
will they go back to brick and mortar, bro? Will they ever go back to brick and mortar? And that we're talking about three specific things, but there's so many other little caveats to it. I mean, look at GameStop. GameStop been out of business for quite a while now, right?
Mm-hmm. They was already trash, but now they just super trash. They went from trash to super trash.
Listen, bro,
trash to super trash.
They super say trash. Like they they super trash level 2. I'm just if you didn't have any other video game out now, you know what's interesting? Now instead of going to buy video games, I downloaded on my PS4. But what did that cause me to do? I had to go buy a hard drive, right? That was an expense I wasn't expecting. I'm old school. I come from the cartridge era where we like it in our hands. You know what I mean? But now I'm downloading video games because I'm not leaving this house.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. So it affects business in a lot of crazy ways, right? Mm-hmm. Now, first off, before we get into the next question I have for you, I just want to couple people checking in with us, and I just want to make sure that we shout them out. Jose Sanchez, what's up, brother? How you?
Yo,
peace,
Jose.
Peace. Shout out to our brother Don. Don always supports us, as does Jose. Want to say I appreciate you, Don. What's good? How you? And if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the business of geek culture during Corona and also riots, right? So that's the next piece I want to talk about. With everything going on in terms of what happened to George Floyd, the reaction to what happened to George Floyd, and just seeing like the vitriol and hatred that's like spewing online at this point. What does that do to the community, right? Because I know you have your own space, which first of all, salute to you for creating a space for Black folk to talk about the things that we want to talk about, in our own space. So first of all,
the mixed media revolution, man, the mixed media revolution.
Y'all already know but y'all know the wave I was on before. I always say before I was a Black nerd, I was Black first. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I always look at it like this. This is an all hands on deck situation. The systemic racism has reached a boiling point, and not that it didn't already reach a boiling point, but finally people wanted to be active about it. What we saw happen to George Floyd was not only unfortunate, but a tipping point. In the Black nerd culture, it's interesting because and you brothers are fair. I'm part of a collective of Black geeks who we all support each other's content and aspirations in the future. And some people had different viewpoints. Remember, we're Black nerds. We talk about comic books, geek stuff, and the like. Our typical fans are not used to heavy heavy social problems or heavy political problems being on our platforms, you know, our Instagram pages, our Facebook pages. Now,
yeah,
HNIC is probably different than a lot of other platforms because we're pop culture and black culture mixed together from the nerd culture's perspective. So we get a little bit more playroom when talking about political things, social issues, plights of the black people. So that because we're Afrocentric in nature, but I watched a lot of black geek content creators really feel like, man, if I talk about this, I'm going to lose my white viewership. And I watched some other geek content creators say, F them white folks, we going to go ham with this thing. I'm going to let the man know what time it is. And if they go, they go. You don't let the door hit you on the way out the door. Listen.
Yeah.
The way we look at it is, we just going to spit facts. If you stick around, you're the kind of people we want to ride with us. If you don't stick around, there's no loss on us because you weren't a real fan to begin with. Which is
and that's the way you should look at it, though, right? Because all this is doing is giving you a chance to kind of like clean house and see who really was with you. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to be with me when I'm saying things you like, but you know, can you deal with it when I'm telling you some truth that you may or may not like?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
COVID cut the grass for you. COVID was the lawnmower.
What we say in Philly, Corey? Now I can see where the snake's at. Now I can see where the snake's at. But see, you know, Bob,
facts.
But see, you know what? I don't knock anybody who did one or the other, and here's why. I understand the need and the want to preserve what you built.
For sure.
It's almost like the brother who made it into the burbs. You know what I mean? I got a platform now. I'm doing good. I got sponsors. I got the possibility of some money coming in. I ain't trying to rock the boat. We know those brothers, right? You see them in entertainment. And I'm not, and once again, I don't want it to be like a knock against them. Also, I don't want to hear you complain either. Because if you're not here for the struggle, then don't come to us when it's, they not letting me in the door because I'm black. Well, you should shuck and jive on the other way and go around back like the rest. That's what,
yeah.
I'm just saying, and it's not to demonize or diminish anybody else because of their choices. I just know for me, one of the reasons why we went independent, one reason why we left radio, one reason why we didn't go to TV, one reason why we build from within is because we say reckless stuff and we don't care how you feel about it. And we can only do that when we own. If I don't own my platform, if I don't own my viewership, if I don't own my content, then I don't own my words.
Okay, so there you go. That's the bar right there. It's about ownership, right?
Yo,
and that's the key.
Y'all preach that every week. Every week we preach ownership. By the hood, from day one, when we first had our first interview, bro, we kept it real basic. Own your content, own your masters if you're in the music industry, own property because that's how you build generational wealth. Ownership. Because you know what?
Absolutely.
You know what? Donald Trump can sit on Twitter and spew hate, BS, and everything in the like because he's the president of the United States and he owns this thing. If that don't tell you how powerful ownership is, that these platforms are actually changing their terms and rules, and Facebook is allowing him to flat out lie. Because he's the man.
Yeah.
Yo, let me ask you a question. Through this process, right? So you guys keep it real and you talk about, what facts are. Did any of your bigger fans surprise you or fall back, or did you have any sort of like falling out with any of your fans?
Jimmy, what you been talking to them? Did they message you before the show?
No, this is the reason why I want to have you on, because I actually thought about your business as I was watching everything go on, because I know how it is. Like, so sports is another one of those spaces, right? So sometimes sports brings people together from all different cultures, walks of life. I own equity in a sports company, and like the sports page we have, and shout out to my brother Dev and everybody from War Room Sports, but our page turned all of a sudden, it's like, yo, it's nothing but fights on the page. It's like,
it's a battleground.
I feel like, we got new followers that are the KKK. Like, it's nothing but just fights first of all, there's no sports going on, but because of that, and but there's also no Marvel movies dropping. So I see the parallel, and I'm like, sports brings people together. Geek culture brings people together. So it's like, but I see like people who were like once like, hey, we're gonna watch this game, this, that, and the third. Now they're calling each other names, and you know what I mean. I'm like, okay, so this has to be going on within geek culture too, because first of all,
it's worse.
Yeah, it's probably worse. It's probably worse because we lack representation on a grand scale. So if we talk about sports, we as athletes we dominate that. So we were just making, and I shouldn't say that because we've been making it, but everyone knows that if we want to keep it honest, what Black Panther did, for us within that space, it's going to be a part of history. Now we know that there were things before, and I was watching your show the other day, and you were talking about what's the one Wesley Snipes was in years ago?
Blade. They saved
he was like how long ago that was. But the point you were making on your show is Black Panther did something else for us though. Like Blade was then, but Black Panther took it to a whole. So I get that. So we lack representation, but we were making headway. But then something like this happens when like the skirt is pulled up between COVID and between like white supremacy, and you probably got all sorts of arguments and fights.
Jimmy, how much time you got, brother? Because I'm gonna tell you right now.
No, go ahead. I want to know because this is interesting to me from a business standpoint, because we live in a time where businesses have to kind of take sides now, right? So from a historical standpoint, I've never seen it where a business, whether you're independent or you're a big conglomerate now, everybody has to like take a side,
bro.
So what happens in this space? What happens in your space,
bro? So, all right, I'm gonna answer this as best as I can. First and foremost, cosplayers thrive off of exposure, right? They need it. Now, the more exposure you have, the better. There is what is he called? I think it's called Buckingham Batman or Hatboro Batman. I don't want to even throw him under the bus, but he was a white dude, and he went national because he showed up to the Philly protests as Batman.
I remember. I seen that.
Yeah. Well, the problem is with that is he showed up for clout, not for the cause. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So here's this white dude showing up, and all through his timeline, because we were one of the first ones to break that, like everybody was bigging him up, but I was like, well, wait, why was he there? Because he did nothing. He just stood there. It wasn't
like the real Batman. He did exactly what the real Batman does.
Right. Well, listen, at the end of the day,
y'all trying to get into a Batman debate, but no, I'm saying, but he did though. He just walked through the smoke. That's all I saw him do.
First of all, who shows up to a protest with a cameraman? That's number one. Number two, you got all these candid shots, but then all down your timeline is Blue Lives Matter. It's he's done all this stuff with the Fraternal Order of Police and whatnot. So why are you there? Like, I don't have a problem with you supporting law enforcement because I'm law enforcement, but then why did you show up there? You know what I mean? So that sparked its own hypocrisies because multiple cosplay. You might have saw Joker and in the protests in Detroit, and different cosplayers were showing up to these riots. Some to make a political statement, others for clout. That right there is already dead. Because if you're there for clout, that's not the time to do it. Then you start talking about, bro, I have never had an influx of what are they called? Left wing? Which one's the Republicans?
Right wing. That's the right wing.
Listen, a bunch of these cats that be at the Tea Party join the HNIC page because we were talking heavy Afrocentric Black Lives Matter content. When I tell you our numbers now, our popularity jumped, but the quality of the page went down because there was nothing but them arguing with our regular Black listeners. And it took one of my white brothers, George Pond from Montana. Much love to you, George. Corey know George. Yo,
yeah, I know George.
George DM me and was like, yo, what is going on? When did all these racist cats jump on the page? And I was like, bro, I don't even know what you're talking about. And it wasn't until he pointed it out to me that there was these pocket fights happening everywhere. Would Superman be with the police or would he be with the protesters? After the wait a minute, how did we even get here, bro? But it permeated throughout the entire culture. That's a testament to how big this is. how important this is, because anytime you have to begin to pontificate and debate over what your
favorite superhero.
Corey, you come on, man. Everything is by legend. You know, we have Greek mythology that has withstood the test of time to now. Our superheroes are our Greek mythology, so they are a basis for our morality. You know what I mean? And trying to debate what some of our people that we hold in high regard, that's supposed to be our moral standards, would do in these instances, like Miles Morales. He's Spider-Man, but he's black. So would Miles be with Black Lives Matter, or would he be with the police? With Sam Wilson, who's Falcon and became Captain America, he's black. What would our black heroes do? We know where Luke Cage would be. He'd be knocking down. Well, I ain't gonna say the N-word. I'm sorry. You know, I don't want to get too comfortable, but you get
listen. Speak your mind, man. But I get your point. But it's funny, I never thought about that either. Like, you know, I was just thinking about. I know it has to be a lot of infighting. I just know it has to be. And I'm interested also to see what happens, like, when things settle down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I already see that you're making moves on a business level. You've already started to make moves, right? And I first off, I want to applaud you for that, because again, you know, we always talk about black first, and you're kind of like leading the charge in a way, and again, giving us a bigger platform for our people to have these conversations about geek culture. Because I was having a conversation with my wife the other day. We were speaking about geek culture. I was like, the funny thing is, everybody has something that they're geeky about, even if it's the stock market, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, yo, I know cats that are straight stone cold street dudes that are gangsters, but they even geeks about that. They could tell you the history of every block and every corner in Philadelphia and who was getting money. I'm like, yo, you're a geek. You're a crime geek.
Yo, hey Jim, don't be telling my business on our show, Doug. I ain't asked you to tell our business.
I laugh at Corey all the time, Jimmy, because I remember listen, the Corey I see now and the Corey I knew back in 2000. And I'm so happy to see my brother making all these adult business, good grown black man.
Yeah, he's a different brother, man. Listen, I know Corey since 90.
I see a different side.
Yeah,
I've seen Corey since 91, and I actually talked about it in our book that I wrote. How Corey was like, Corey, the dichotomy of Corey. It was almost like a superhero. Like this dude was a stone cold gangster, but also one of the smartest brothers on it. It's a weird combination there, but yeah. So
they make the best gangsters.
Yeah, but it's just
that was a different lifetime.
Man.
That's a whole different lifetime.
Oh,
but my point is saying that is like, when you talk about geek culture, is so big. There's so many things that we could talk about, right?
Yeah,
because it just doesn't encompass.
Not to cut you off, but I was part of the geek culture for a long time, because I played Magic the Gathering for 20 years. And
I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is.
So it's the biggest card game in the world besides poker. And so I played for 20 years. Like, they, you know, top prizes in a lot of these joints is 50, 100K. And they was having 70, 80 tournaments a year in the United States and another 100 overseas. So, you know.
Hold up. Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, bro.
Yep. Owned by Hasbro.
Yeah, I'm not.
Wizards of the Coast.
Okay, interesting.
Yo, bro.
Interesting.
Let me tell you something. And Corey can attest to it. There's a black-owned card company. You know what? Shoot. How fortunate. This is why I love black business, because he just so happened to leave it. This is a black-owned card company, right? They're starting their own trading cards. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's called VT Heroes. VT Heroes on Instagram. Go on Instagram, and this is a black brother, Jason Richardson, and this is the popularity of Magic the Gathering. He started his own card company based on the likenesses of Power Rangers. He has actual Power Rangers promoting and supporting his card game. That's how real it is. And the popularity of this card game in a short amount of time. He's about to start his Kickstarter. But I just wanted to big him up real quick because it fits right into what Corey was talking about. There's all kinds of geek culture. There's the trading card.
And it's a black-owned company?
Yeah. Black owned.
Oh, we gotta shine some light on that, because that's powerful, man. Because you know,
I feel bad. I called and told him jump on this thing because let me tell you something. The brother started one of the first black anime conventions in Philadelphia, and that's why like he needs a lot of support right now. Because when I think of black-owned comic book convention owners, he's one of the first people that pops up because he takes out, without telling all his business, he takes out his own personal funds and hopes to get it back when he has his conventions. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
And for black anime fans and goers, this is one of the few conventions he has in Atlantic City. Usually every year it's called J1 anime convention, and a lot of times we support it, and sometimes we don't, depending how things roll. But this is one of them times that when the world opens back up, I don't want y'all spending your money at Wizard World. I don't want you going to New York. I don't want you to go in to San Diego Comic-Con. You need to identify these black conventions and those who support black patrons with the content that they have in their conventions. Greater Philadelphia Comic-Con is one of them. J1 Con is one of them. Blurred Con is one of them. They're Afrocentric. Wakanda Con. You know what I mean? We need to put.
So is there a hub or a site or a place that kind of like puts this information out there?
Listen, Blurred Fleet. That's where y'all need to go. Y'all need to go to Instagram, hop on Blurred Fleet. You'll have all that information out of there. And especially because what we're doing now is there wasn't a place. So now we're concerned. It was a bunch of us in these little pockets. I had my show. Party Nerds had their show. Fantastic Frankie, they had their show. And we were all over the place. And we were all reporting on the same thing. Now we're going to consolidate our efforts, our power, our resources, and our platforms to be able to jointly promote these things and really shine the light on people who can use the resources of people who look like us that tailor to our culture. Because like you said, Jimmy, it's just not nerd culture. It's black nerd culture. It's nuance. We want specific things. I don't want to see Tom Holland at every comic book convention. I want y'all to get my man Chadwick. I want to see Black Panther. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a different.
And so Blurred Fleet right now is on Instagram. Is BLERD FLEET, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Blurred Fleet. I just want to.
We just started.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be a place where you can go to support our brothers and sisters who are doing this kind of work. So, I want to make sure that we put this out here. This is it right here, right? Yep. Blurred Fleet. Yep. And we can go there and look for information in terms of supporting our people who are building out platforms in this space.
Exactly.
Because that's important. It's important to support our people. So check out, for those watching now or watching on the replay, make sure you check out at Blurred Fleet. And hopefully that becomes a place where we can get to see, like when these black conventions or someone black creating a company that makes the playing cards. Or black authors, all those kind of things. Yeah, that's very important, man. Gotta ask you a question, man. This became a while I have you on, you're the guy in geek culture and all that. Corey and another one of our partners, we have a live Sunday show called the Black Wealth Podcast, where it's people in the finance space all come together like Voltron to discuss topics in black finance.
I like that.
And it was a couple cats on there who had who had a debate about Killmonger, right? Oh, and now that I have you on, I have to ask you what you have on.
Let's go. Hold on. I got to change.
So the question,
I got to change my hat for that conversation, Jim. All right, let's go.
So I see where you're going with this, and all right. So I see. So the question was very simple: was Killmonger a hero or was Killmonger the ops? How do you see Killmonger?
He was neither. He was an anti.
Interesting.
He was an anti-hero. In comic books, you have heroes, you have villains, and you have anti-heroes. Anti-heroes are people who they are operating outside of the law, but you understand their ethics. Punisher is an anti-hero.
Punisher, that's the first thing comes to mind. He's the first one that comes to mind is Punisher.
Come on, man. Deadpool is an anti-hero. Loki has been an anti-hero. He's more villain, but every so often,
I'm about to say Loki. I don't know. Loki crosses that line though, dog.
You just say, because guess what? If I said Thanos, you'd be like, "Oh, you know what line he on, right?"
But that's
I
not
mean,
true.
but to me, Thanos
Thanos
is a
is an
hero. But
anti.
that's a
Like,
whole
yeah,
different
I'm about to say, I like Thanos. I think Thanos is a hero.
I think
Yeah,
I
see,
think
but
I
that's
think Thanos is misunderstood, man. He's a
that's
hero
what
to me. But that's either here nor there.
Listen, it's in the end. I feel like Killmonger plays that line of the. You ever hear this saying that they better be happy that black people only want equality and not revenge.
Yeah.
Killmonger is what happens if we wanted revenge. If we weren't just looking to live peace, look, we want equality, we want a chance at life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and we just want to live happily. Killmonger is this, and there's every black person, I don't care who they are, got a little bit Killmonger in them. Because when he popped off at the end of the movie, everybody was like, we understood. I didn't hear anybody say like, he was just flat out wrong. First of all, man, look, disowned.
Well, first of all, shout to Tara. Tara checked in. She said yes, she agrees. So shout to Tara for tuning in with us over there on YouTube. But I know Corey. Corey said he's the ops, man. Corey, give him your perspective, man.
Yeah,
what you talking about? So there's a line I draw, right? And he crossed, which is when he choked up on the elder, man, he crossed my line of going from anti-hero to villain. Once you choke up on the elders, man, like if I had my shots with me, he would catch them. So I'm like, so that's my line. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to argue with the elders, you go ahead and argue with them. If you want to, whatever, there's room for voices and differences of opinion. But once you start laying hands, that's a whole different setup. And so at that point, man, I broke ranks with the anti-hero and moved toward the villain.
I'm about to freak you now. Corey, let me ask you a question. You see the Django?
No, I don't subject myself to that kind of recklessness.
Okay, so there's a character in the Django called Steven. Steven is a house Negro. He's basically the main villain in the entire movie. He's a black overseer of
Samuel Jackson.
Right. Jimmy, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I've seen Django, yeah.
He's old. He's an elder. He was opposed to and actively working against black people that were enslaved. The Django ends up killing him. Would you say he was wrong in doing that? Come on. Talk to me, Corey.
Yes. I'm going to say yes. You
know what?
I'm going. Listen, I had to think about it, which is different for me because normally I would have just been like, yeah, he was wrong. But in the simple fact that is, you could have just there's always a solution that doesn't involve death because I've seen so much death and destruction. I'm trying to move away from the thought patterns that say, if
I don't know, man. Bro was a straight Uncle Tom, man.
I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen the
practicing.
movie.
You might be practicing. You might be practicing what I call.
You seen the Boondock?
See which one?
Yeah, I seen the Boondock. Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus times 10.
Yeah.
Tell me you wouldn't think about putting Uncle Ruckus down in the revolution.
Oh, I'm not saying I wouldn't think about it, but I would go to every length possible. I would work every angle before I had to put him down.
You see all
I would work every angle.
Listen, man. Listen. Let me tell you what he's doing, right? Listen, man. A prophet once said his name was Slim Charles. He said sometimes even if it's a lie, you got to fight on that lie, right? So you practicing what I like to call that the Slim Charles theory, man.
Listen, Corey for holding true to his beliefs because it's a core belief. But now,
hold on, Kurt, real quick. We got a couple comments. So Jose says, I think him choking Auntie was due to his unwavering stance that we needed to conquer those who wish to conquer us. And Tara also chimed in again and said that that's a good point also because you can never do that to an elder. So she kind of gets your point. But she also says that your response, though, right? Your response, Kurt, that's a great point. That's a great point. Jose also says that talking about Steven, that man was unredeemable. You know what I mean? And Wayne for checking in. Wayne said,
"Thank you.
Steven deserved that.
He deserved every bit. You ain't seen Steven. Some elders, look. You know what the funny thing is, and I don't like quoting Umar Johnson too often. You know, once you start quoting Umar,
donations.
listen.
Go ahead, though.
Listen. Umar in one workshop looked at all the black fathers in the room and was like, "I'm a psychologist, and I can't save all your boys on the corner. Some of your boys gonna have to go to sleep.
Gotta be put down.
Sleep." Now, mind you, that ain't what you tell a room full of black men. But Corey, you know, there are.
Listen, man, you're not gonna get me to agree with that crazy shit, man. You're not gonna get me to agree with that crazy shit, man.
Listen,
we're gonna stop this right here. You're never gonna get me to agree with that.
But the bottom line is, right? Look, Harriet Tubman had to put some folks down, man. Like,
I don't listen. I didn't say I disagree, but you're not going to get me to agree.
Okay. Well, I think that. But
you're not going to get me to agree with that shit.
Good. Then, listen, I'm not advocating for the killing of the elders, but what I'm saying is, as with everything, I might not do it.
There's extreme cases for everything.
Listen,
I don't know. If I'm not mistaken, though, the elder he killed wasn't even on that type time, though.
No, he wasn't. But no. And this is, and Jimmy, this is why I wanted to circle back to it. This is why I said that. Remember, everything is about perception, right? In his mind, that's what they represented. Not saying it was right, not saying it was righteous, but I just wanted you to connect with the emotion of the character. Yes, Killmonger was villainous in his action, but his motives, it was set in a certain level of righteousness.
Hey, but your motives can't bring people back from the dead, so you gotta choose right there in that moment. Listen, man, that's something my old head told me a long time ago when I used to be pistol packing and macking.
You see how he had to arrange himself, Jimmy? He said, "Oh,
yeah."
Because my old head told me, like, your motives can't bring people back from the dead.
Right.
So you gotta choose. And so
anti-hero, Corey. That's what I'm trying to show you, the villainous side and the hero side. See. With Black Panther, it was unwavering. Black Panther went to his own pops and said, "Yo, not only you, but the rest of you kings, y'all did wrong. Y'all caused him to be the way he is because you ostracized." So that was that hero trope. We understood that. Claw was the white dude. He was just straight evil. We know about evil white folk. That ain't new. But Killmonger represented that delicate balance of what we all could be. And we all understand that. You know what I mean? We all understand what it means to be so angry. You want to burn the world down, but you don't have the resources.
Hey, I live in a state of angry, want to burn the world down. But I don't want to kill my own folks when I'm burning the shit down. I want to sound the fire alarm for my folks.
Corey,
we got folks checking this one and say what's up, Lyrical Ocarine. You know, Tuffy wanted to check in, so salute to you. It's interesting. This whole debate is interesting to me. Like someone said on our page, they said that was war, and sometimes at war things are going to happen that are ugly, but it's part of war.
There's no clean wars. Listen, there are people that gotta go, but I think as he took it to a place it didn't have to go. Those elders, he could have did exactly what he wanted to do. He never had to even address them because he was already the king. He never even had to address them.
I agree with you, Corey, but that wouldn't have made a movie, would it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yo, for everybody on Facebook, YouTube, do me a favor, yo.
We're gonna leave the white folks alone. We just go chill right here. That's the end of the movie. We wouldn't have loved it.
Yo, hit the like button, share this. We got about 20 more minutes left, and I want a couple more topics I want to get into, but I had to bring that up because
you know what happened to me and Corey to get into these comic books, man.
I know. Again, you know, you're the geek culture guy. This is something that I'm personally interested in. This is a personal question because I do read graphic novels, and that's what's interesting also about the times we live in. Because one of the reasons I like graphic novels is because they tend to touch on topics that you generally don't get in like mainstream books and things like that. Yeah. But anyway, probably one of my top three comics of all time, and it's not two or three, is Why the Last Man. And
Woo.
I see that they have a TV show getting ready to drop.
Yep.
On FX, I believe. So is it actually going to happen this time? Because again, it's probably one of my favorites, and I know that it's came close to being made a zillion times. So I mean, do you have any insight on that, or
Let me
is
tell
it
you
really coming this time?
We have we have footholds and everywhere in the entertainment industry as far as information goes, but typically everything that's not under the protection of an NDA is kind of general knowledge and things that you hear word of mouth. I can give you rumors, baby, but I can't give you nothing concrete. I will say this: most shows have been postponed, especially if it's not already in production. Like we were fortunate that The Mandalorian was already wrapping up when COVID happened, so they basically had to do post-production work and we'll still get it on time. It's going to be hard pressed to see any new TV shows that these production studios are going to take a risk on. You get what I mean? They done lost massive amounts of money. So now if they put out a TV show, they want to make sure it's a hit and a guaranteed hit. And if it ain't, they're not going to do it. They're going to hold it off till they recoup some of their money, and then they can go ahead on and get a little bit more, adventurous. But right now, everything that was already on the slate is going to be put out that they can for the rest of 2020. I mean, 2020. Look, I don't even know what year it is. Just how bad I want to get out of 2020. If they pushing back Tenet, Wonder Woman, if think about that, Black Panther 2 has been pushed back almost an additional year because it's not in production right now. In addition, we're not seeing Black Panther till 2022. The entire a new phase of Marvel has been pushed back exponentially. So don't expect to see too many new TV shows. You'll definitely still see Falcon and Winter Soldier just started filming again. The Witcher 2 season 2 just started coming out again just today. The Boys season 2 just dropped. It'll start September 4th. I'm trying to remember everything. But as far as
they dropped it.
No, Jimmy.
I like The Boys is fire. It's on Amazon, John. That joint was fire.
You want to hear the crazy part? I haven't even seen season 1 yet, but I read all the comics. What? Hear me out.
Okay.
I read all the comics. I know. See, I'm a purist, bro. If it's not fire and it's not like how I read it, I'm not going to enjoy it. You get what I mean?
You one of them guys. One of them guys.
Right.
One of them guys that you be in the movie theater with them. They like, and they all loud in the back. It didn't happen like that in the comic. You one of them guys.
My friends hate going to the movies for me. I'll be like, no, that ain't it. When they had Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four, I booed 30 minutes straight through that whole boo. Get off the screen. Come on, man. I'm one. Yes, I am. I'm one of them annoying guys. That's why I go to the movies on Tuesday at 12 o'clock when nobody else is there. So Why the Last Man? That's one of listen. That's one of my all-time favorite graphic novels. If y'all out there, if y'all haven't read it, it's fire, super fire. I'm hoping that the TV series starts. I don't see it happening anytime soon. 2020, 2022 at best, bro. Sorry.
And you brought up another good point too about like what's going on with the coronavirus in production. So this whole idea of like the Marvel, everything in Marvel got pushed back, right?
Yeah.
And also with the theaters, right? So theaters are in trouble, and a lot of them possibly going out of business. What does this do for that? Does everything move streaming now? Like, are we looking at a time where now we don't have the big Marvel releases, or are they going right to streaming? Like, where do you think that is going?
Let me tell you something. They're gonna make their money by any means necessary. What was it? Outward Bound, I think it was called Outward Bound. It was a Disney movie. They put it on streaming platform, made buku dollars. And it made a lot of these studios realize, well, maybe we don't need brick and mortar theaters anymore. Remember how the CEO of AMC was like, look,
yeah,
we're gonna start banning these movies because y'all not gonna come back to us. They running scared right now. And if anything, even after we open up the world, I'm not going. I saw Outbreak. I'm not going to no theater.
Yeah, right.
I saw Outbreak.
Yeah, I saw Outbreak too, and I was thinking that same thing. Like theater, what theater? Me?
Corey,
My.
we saw that. If you ever look up coughing scene in theater outbreak, and you'll learn why I'm gonna keep my natural black behind out of the theater.
You can
So
say ass.
I
You
heard
can
that.
say ass. We you know.
I heard that. I heard that. So that could be interesting in terms of the business long term as well. Is what
AMC.
happens is everything
Oh,
go right to
I gotta
streaming
ask
service.
a question. I gotta ask a question real quick. What's in that never-ending cup you keep drinking out of, dog?
Listen, man.
Caught it. So it's never ending, huh?
Yeah, that shit is never ending. He been sipping on that fucking cup for 45 minutes. What's in there?
Listen. Black Panther, he sipped nectar from the purple heart herb. Well, let me. I got this imported from Wakanda.
Yeah,
I mean,
man. Like,
until your man tried to burn everything down. I mean,
Yeah.
But anyway,
Don't get me started on Killmonger again, because
I know we're gonna stop with the Killmonger because we got other questions in reference to geek culture. So I think that's interesting to see what they do with these streaming services and moving forward with everything being stopped. So you said that they actually announced season 2 of The Boys, right? So is it out already? You said when did you say the release date is for that?
It's September 4th. September 4th,
Okay.
2020. It's coming out this year. Season 2 is going to be fire. From what everybody who's seen season 1, I now have to jump on season 1. But if there and everybody that all my friends that know me have co-signed it, and you have done yourself a disservice, a huge disservice, if you haven't seen the Watchmen series yet, because that opening episode with Tulsa, Oklahoma, is everything you need to know about why people are acting the way they act in 2020. Because we done seen this before. There's a reason why people feel the way they feel. Whenever we have any kind of economic, sociological, or political advancement, they want to burn what we do down. Sorry, y'all. I get this.
Fact. No, I love it. But the crazy part is I'm actually rewatching that now because the thing about The Watchmen to me, which is interesting, is I'm always missing something because it's so layered and they drop like
little jewels
inside. Oh my god, yeah. Actually,
yeah.
I went back because I'm lazy, right? So I was gonna go back and go read the original comics, but I found that they got them on YouTube where someone's actually reading them to you. So I kind of like use the cheat code there. So I reread them by watching YouTube. But no, but just in doing that, I picked up some breadcrumbs. Like so, they're good for that in the Watchmen. In terms of giving you content and having little breadcrumbs that lead back to the original movie, to the original book. So that was excellent. So let me ask you a question. With everything being shut down in 2020 and nothing, we really haven't got anything major. What has been like your favorite piece of content for 2020, if anything?
Brother, so man. So if I'm gonna give you stuff to watch, let me tell you something. Castlevania on Netflix. There's this black brother that's in there named Isaac that is everything a supporting character should be. That was one of my favorite watches. I've been really loving, if I'm keeping it a bean, like I'm one of them geeks that was not beat up in school. So I like basketball and whatnot. So I love that Jordan documentary. Did y'all check out that Jordan documentary?
Oh yeah. I saw all this. That was very like nostalgic.
Yo,
the
that
nostalgia in there was nuts.
Everything. I've been watching about the boy Jerry Epstein and the Tiger King. Those were my big things. But one of the biggest things that I watch in this culture is please, if you've never watched Avatar, go watch Avatar. Because Avatar, even though it's a children's cartoon from Nickelodeon, it aired in like 2005, and my black behind, because I come from a deeply religious family, they wasn't going to have nobody's Avatar, wind blower, fire and earth, take them demons outside. You ain't going to bring them in this house. We didn't get to watch it.
The originals.
Yeah. We didn't get to watch all that back then. But I just watched the whole series. And
I'm actually watching it with my kids now. I actually made my kids watch it because my kids were curious about it. But I'm watching it with my kids, and I'm shocked at the. I'm shocked at the depth of understanding my kids have for the issues that are going on there and how they're able to relate those issues to what is going on out in the world. So
interesting.
So
Jimmy,
they're able. They were instantly able to
make the connection.
to make the connection to what's going on out here in the world. So, I was watching it for entertainment, but
but it's
they,
different.
they was kicking it to me.
Yeah. Shout out to our sister Janice. She said I said the same to my kids, but they love it and have been rewatching it. So that's dope. Castlevania. I've never. You're the first person I heard say. I've never heard. Like I didn't even know it was on Netflix.
Castlevania got 4 seasons now, right? It's on 4 seasons.
Jimmy?
I watched it. My son's a geek. My son is an absolute geek. My 13-year-old. You can't name a piece of.
Yo, send them my way, Corey. What you doing? Yo, we need an intern. Stop playing. Come on, send them my way.
Hey, listen, I send them your way.
Listen. Get
Jose has a comment.
Go ahead. I feel like I'm watching. Go,
he said, I got my children watching Gargoyles, which was a dope cartoon. It also has some jewels.
They had big time jewels. See, you know what kills me? Whenever it's a cartoon with either voiced by people of color or representing people of color, because Avatar is, of course, our Asiatic brothers. It's always a plight. You know what I mean? It's always a plight. And it's always us going through this turbulence. We ain't get no Care Bear-esque, strawberry shortcake type cartoons back in the day. When it was black folk, we was fighting wars. We was
warring.
You know what I mean? Every time it's a war.
Yeah.
So it's dope to see like a Gargoyles and an Avatar when you're an adult. Because now you know the little nuances that they were trying to get across. You get the sexism, you get the oppression, you get why you identified with the main character, because he was fighting against what was wrong, even though there was established government. That's the thing that kills me. See, everybody has this ideology of America the Great, but America the Great has proven time and time and again that their governmental structure oppresses people. So just because it's the structure that is in place today doesn't mean it can't change tomorrow. And that's the one thing that I love about these cartoons, because they teach kids. Just because that's the authority don't mean you can't step up and change everything.
That's because as a creator, you probably get more off doing it via cartoon. You get to say and do things that you probably wouldn't be able to do if your medium wasn't a cartoon.
And you know what I mean? You know what the prime example of that, Jimmy, is what I was going to leave for last. I just started rewatching. I have watched it 2 times in 2020. I watched all 4 seasons, and I just started it again today because it just gives me so many jewels. The Boondocks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite TV. That's my second favorite TV show of all time.
Period.
My favorite TV show of all time is the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
And my second favorite show of all time is the Boondocks.
The Boondocks.
That's a good question. Because my favorite TV show of all time is Sanford and Son, but that's either
Well, that's a classic.
But they actually went through some stuff on Sanford and Son.
See, my favorite of all time.
So man,
The Wire, hands down.
Is it who?
The Wire.
Oh, I think that's the greatest. That is the greatest. Like, and I don't even think. And the funny thing is, it became like a hype beast thing to say, but just artistically, I don't think people even understand some of the nuance and some of the gems that were being dropped into some of the parallels between all those walks of life, whether it was street, media, politics, business. So I can bloviate about The Wire probably I feel like I want to go back to school and get a PhD just so I can write about The Wire. It's gonna be so my thesis will somehow.
I'll read that.
Yeah, like because that's how
I'm gonna say something that probably get me put off the show, but I
stop it, man. Stop it, man. I don't even want to come on, man. Don't even do it.
I haven't seen anything past season 2.
You gotta watch season 2 because season 2 ties in. Season 2 moves a little slower than everything else, but it's important.
Everybody loses.
It's important in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, the season 2. First off, you're gonna do it now. You gotta start from scratch, but work your way through because season 2 will make so much more sense and tie everything together. And that's the beauty of the writing of that show. But Corey, I think that is the greatest.
Season 2 because it shows you the infrastructure of the backs.
I'm saying when it was on, it was just dumb slow, and I was like, man, I live this life. I don't need to look at this shit on TV.
But here's the thing, though. But this is why you watch it now, where you can binge your way through it because it does move slow. To watch it week to week. Well, first off, that's another thing too. That Netflix has ruined me watching anything week to week at this point. I can't watch anything week to week. Like I was trying. I love Billions. And I literally stopped after the first episode just to build it up because Netflix done ruined the game, and I'm all
Yep.
about the binge watch game
I,
now.
I stopped watching for the last 4 weeks because I want to watch binge too.
Listen, that's like when we first
Exactly.
got microwaves. Once we got microwaves, dinner was never the same again, and neither were watching TV. Look, if we can't, y'all know I ain't lying. When you get that 90-second dinner, you like cook what? Bread?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody doing all that.
Things done change, as Big say. Things done change. Well, listen, Kurt, we got a couple minutes before we get out of here, man. First off, man, I just want to say, man, salute to you and what you got going on with Blurred Fleet. And I'm going to put this up again because I want everybody to check this out because he's trying to aggregate all of geek culture, but created by people of color though. So this is why it's important because we need our own spaces in every business, whether we're talking about the stock market, whether we're talking about real estate, whether we're talking about education, whether we're talking about the nonprofit world. We need our own spaces. And this is a space for geek culture. So check out at Blurred Fleet on Instagram. And I'm pretty sure you'll have a lot of content and things coming our way from people that look like us that are into these kind of conversations, whether you talk about pop culture, geek culture, however you want to describe it. But I think that's very important. So just want to say again to you, salute for all the work you do in that space because it is important. We need representation everywhere and we need to own, right? And you preach ownership, owning your content, owning your material. You talked about playing cards from a black-owned company. You talked about a black-owned comic book store.
Right.
So even within that space, we have people who are making moves, and I think it's important. So I want to say thank you.
Baby. We in the business of doing business, even in geek culture.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. So before we get you out of here, one last question. We got about 2 minutes left. What's the next big thing we should be looking out for? You gave us a couple of things coming out, but in terms of within geek culture, what's the next big thing we all should be looking out for?
Everybody should be looking out for the next big thing. Honestly, everybody's kind of in the shadow of how COVID's going to play out because we don't know when conventions will start. We don't know how businesses will recover. We don't even know if our favorite comic book shops will still be standing. The next big thing is going to be you, the patron, and what you do with your black dollars. You're going to be the next big thing. Where you put your dollar and where you support is going to make it the next big thing because when all these other companies die off, there's got to be something left. So we need to go ahead on and consolidate this dollar, consolidate our support, and make sure not only that we survive, but that we thrive after this. So pick a struggle because there's plenty of black businesses that are doing it and find out whoever in your circle that you can support and put your dollars to it. That's all.
Man, great point, man. So Cora, man, this has been another amazing episode. A lot of great talk about some of our favorite topics, but also is framed around black-owned business. So for the folks out there watching, make sure you take a look at what Head Nerds in Charge has put together. Their platform is amazing. They have a live show every week as well. And like I said, it's interesting to watch these conversations from people that look like you and I, but they're also about ownership, owning your content, owning your spaces, and supporting each other. So make sure that we support each other in every space. I don't care what that is, whether we talk about a black plumber, a black electrician, a black comic book store, but make sure you look to see that we're in that space and that we're supporting each other. So and for those that chimed in on the show, we appreciate your support as always. Everybody on YouTube, everybody on Facebook, go ahead and share this out so everybody can see this conversation. But again, we support you. We appreciate your support, and we'll be right back here next Friday. We do our live every week from 7 to 8. And we'll be talking about something along the lines of business or investing because that's what we talk about, and we talk about it from all sorts of perspectives. But thank you again, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Thank you for having me, y'all. Much love.
Absolutely. So